Hello everyone, welcome back to UCodes. My name is Omar, and in today's video we are going to see how to integrate our AI agent into Telex. So this video is specifically for the HNG interns. So if you are having any issues or integrating your agent into Telex, in this video we are going to see how to do it. Okay, so this is my A2A endpoint that I created, and this project is the project we made in the first video. I will attach the link to it in the cards somewhere here. Okay, so this is the A2A route, which is basically going to take the incoming request and then get our Mastra instance and our agent ID from the parameters here. Just pass the body and check all of these fields. So we are going to check if the JSON RPC version is not 2.0 or we don't have a request ID. We are just going to return a 400 error saying that it's a bad request. And then we are getting our agent from the master instance. And if there is no agent by that ID, we are going to say that that agent is not found. And then we are extracting the messages and the new message, the context ID, tax ID, and other metadata from the parameters of the incoming request. And then now we are building a new message list here. So if we have a message, which is the new message that is just coming in, we are just going to append it to our message or list. And else, if we have messages and it is an array, then our message list is just going to be that messages, since it's already an array. So this one is when we only have one message. So next we have to convert it to convert that messages into a master format. So I'm going to map every single message that is coming in. We're taking the role, pass it here, and for the content, we are also going to map the parts of the message. Since the incoming message is going to have multiple fields inside of the parts. Going to have a kind, going to have a kind, and then depending on that kind, it's either going to have a text or it's going to have a data, which is a JSON. And to stringify it, we are going to use JSON.stringify. That is it. And then at the end here, we are going to join them by a new line or an empty string. So to execute we then execute our agent. We call our agent and pass it the messages. So this is going to pass everything we have to our agent, which is our GitHub agent, and our GitHub agent will be able to recognize the URL and call the tool and everything. So the response we are getting here is going to include the tool response and the AI agent response itself. So the AI agent response is just inside of response.text. So we are going to grab it here. And then we build our artifacts array. So our artifact of type any. The reason why I'm giving a type of any here is just to get done with this quickly. Because if we don't have a type of any, then TypeScript is going to infer that the type of our artifact array is expecting parts to have only the kind of text, and the text should be like a string, while here in our tools result we are going to have something else. So we are just going to leave it as any, or if you can just go ahead and write an interface for it. So that's what we are doing here. We add the new agent response into our artifact, and then we take the response.tools results, right? If the tools result exists and its length is greater than 0, we're just going to push it into our artifacts array with a random ID, and the name of that field must be tools results, right? And the part of that should just map the tools results, take a result and pass in the kind to data and the data to the result. So now for our conversation history, we are just going to spread our messages list, which we also have to take every single message and pass the kind as a message, the role or the parts, and then a message ID, which if it doesn't exist, we create a new one, and a task ID, which if it doesn't exist from the parameters, we just create a random one. And then at the end, we append our agent message into the history. That is it. And now we have to return our A2A compliant response. If our response does not match this A2A here, Telex is not going to recognize what's going on. So the very first thing we have to set is our JSON RPC version to 2.0. We pass our ID and then a result object here. Inside of that result object is going to have an ID, a context ID, and then a status object. Please look at the structure of this. It has to be in a similar structure because this is the A2A compliant response. It has to be compliant to this structure here for Telex to be able to recognize what you are sending it back. So if you are sending anything to your agent on Telex and it's not replying, then there is something wrong with your response here, right? So now inside of our status, we have the state to be completed. That because we haven't thrown any error yet, so it has to be completed, and the timestamp just a new date.yso string. And then inside of your status, you have a message. Then that message ID should be a random UID, whatever language you are using, just create a random ID here. And the role should be the agent because we just got the text from the agent. And the parts should have the kind of text, and the text should be agent text, right? And the kind is the message. Then we pass our active artifacts and history, and this kind of this response should be a task. That is it. And then we catch out any error we have. I'm just passing a type of any here, and then we return context.json. And yeah, this is JSON RPC 2.0 ID null, and this error message is here. So once you have this, just go ahead and push your project to GitHub. Let's just do that here. I haven't initialized a repository for this project, but let's just init. Okay, so Umar from the future, I forgot to register my route inside of the headquarters, which is the index.ts here. So let's do that before you push it to GitHub. So just come to your index.typescript where we registered our our GitHub agent right here, right? Just come somewhere below here inside of the master object and just type in a server upload, right? So here we have this, and then say API route, and then give it an array, and this array is only going to contain our A2A route. Let's just copy the name here, paste it there, and then make sure to import it. So once you have this inside of your index.ts, you can just go on ahead and push it to GitHub. I know I pushed it earlier, but let's just, maybe this will actually be the feature. Register A2A route and index, and that is it. Now you can continue with the video. So it has been pushed to GitHub. So now let's just go to our Mastra cloud here, and then I already have this going on. Let me just come back to my team page. So you will be on this page immediately after you log in. Just go on ahead and click new, and then I'm going to call this GitHub Agents YouTube. Nice. So I'm just going to click on create master project from GitHub, and then I'm going to import this repository right here. Just wait for it to load. I'm not going to change anything here. I'm just going to click create. So this studio is going to take a while to boot up, but we are not going to wait for it. Just come to deployments overview on the left hand side. Umar from the future again. So once your studio is ready, and before you deploy your project, just come over here to env variables and paste in your API key. Since I was using Google generated API key, I'll just paste it here. Once you just copy it from your code can just paste it here and it's going to work. Alright, so this is sensitive, but I don't care. I'll just cancel it because I already have it. So yeah, that is it. Make sure to paste this in here before you deploy, else you will have to redeploy when you add it later. Click on enable deployment, and now it says deployment enabled successfully. So it's going to start deploying the project here. So yeah, I will just pause the recording here. Once it's done deploying, I will continue the video. It takes a while to deploy your project, so please be patient. As you can see, it's still in beta state, so let's just be patient and wait for it to complete. Great, so the deployment is done. Yeah, I had to deploy it a couple of times, but I'm going to edit the video so you see all of the issues I faced before reaching this point. So from here you are going to have your domain here. Let's just copy the link address. Now we are ready to integrate into Telex, but before that, let's make sure we are actually doing the proper stuff. So let's use an HTTP client to test the endpoint. So I'm going to use Testfully. You can use Postman or any other HTTP client. But before that, here on the left hand side under deployments, you can see this API section. So when you come to the API section, you are going to see our API reference here. So you are going to see this post one up here /A2A/agent ID. That is the one we are going to use. So at the end, inside of my Testfully, I'm just going to paste that URL here and go to /A2A/agent / our agent ID, which is GitHub agent, I believe. This should be a small letter. Yeah, I believe this should be the endpoint because I've forgotten what I use as my agent name. You can check it by coming to agents. Click on the agent here and then copy GitHub agent. Nice, it's actually correct. And in the body, I'm just going to come to Phoenix blog, copy this sample request we have here and paste it here. And here I'm just going to say, what do you do? And send it. So it's going to be a post request. Let's just make sure to change that. Nice. And you can see that we have our JSON RPC compliant response down here. Alright. So this is inside of our status. This is the message, right? It has the ID and the role is the agent, and this is the parts. So this is where we see what kind of data it is. So the kind of this data is text. You see, it says I can analyze GitHub repositories and provide insights on them. Just give me the URL of the repo you are interested in. So now let's just come up here and swap this to analyze github.com/git/. Nice. So you can see here that it says the GitHub repository git/git is a mirror of the Git source code. It does and all of that. What we are interested in is down here in our artifacts. Right? You can see that we have our artifact ID, and then the name is GitHub agent response. Right? And then down here we have another artifact. Right? And the name of this is tool results. And inside of it we have parts. Right, and then inside of that part we have an object with the kind of data, and then a data field again, the type of tool dash result, and all of this information. Alright, so down here you are going to see the actual results here. So the name of the repo is Git, the description, that is it, issues, language, owner, stars, and this other information. So now we are sure that our endpoint works, right? So all we are going to do is just take this URL and copy it. That is the URL to /agent/agent/agent. And now we are ready to come into Telex. Alright, so on Telex, just come here to AI coworkers, click on add new, select an image. We're going to select anything, let's say friendly, or just call it, or I won't call it YTP. So this is a GitHub. I don't want to say it. Yeah, I'll just say summarize. Alright, description summarizes the information, or rather the details of the repo. For the visibility, you can set it to public, but for now, since I'm only going to test it, I'll just set it to me only, and then click on create. So we have it up here. I'm just going to click on it. Click on view profile, click on configure workflow. So in here, on this very first page where we have task list, just click on this view, switch it to JSON. Nice. So now select this and delete it. Now go back to that blog, scroll down, or rather up if you are at the bottom. Just copy this part here, defining your workflow. You are just going to copy that and then paste it in here. Right, so we are having error because of this string here. I'm just going to get rid of that and make sure it's on the single line. Nice. So let's just let's just say repository information, and the name I'm just going to call it Git agent. For the long description here, we can copy the description we had for our agent. We can copy the description we had for our agent. So I'll just come into GitHub agent, copy this, right, and then paste it here. Let's make sure it's on the same line. Nice. So we can click on Prettify. So we are getting that error because of all of the new line characters. Just make sure it's on the single line. You see from line 7 to 8, and it's just perfect. So now for the short description, just get a summary for any GitHub repository. Nice. So the ID, I'm going to call it repo underscore agent. Here too, or repo agent, or rather let's just use it says. We don't have to change anything else. The only thing we have to change here is the URL, right? So this URL should be the test, the deployed URL here, the one we used to test. We're just going to copy it and paste it here. You can see that it goes to HTTP or this deployed URL, and then to /A2A/agent/ the name of my agent. And I think that is it. Let's just save it. Agent workflow created successfully. So now let's go back to our colleague here. Now I'm going to ask him, hello, what do you do? If you're having this cutoff error, just refresh. Nice. So it says, I'm here to summarize the details of the GitHub repository. If you have a specific repository in mind, just share the link. Of course, I'm going to say, yeah, github.com/ I'm always going to use it. Nice. So you can see that it says the repository git/git is a mirror of Git. It's basically giving us the same information, right? And this repository is the official blah 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 and all of this. So you can see the activity level and impact. The activity level is very high. This and that. So we can see that we successfully created our agent, deployed it, and then integrated it into the Telex platform. So I think that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this goes on to show you how to scale through all of the issues we had setting this up. So I faced a lot of issues before I finally got it to work, and now it's just easy and straightforward. In case you're having this issue where it's just cutting off the response, don't worry about it, just refresh the page. And yeah, that is basically it. So if you learned a thing or two from this video, please do like the video, because yeah, YouTube loves likes, and if you guys like the video, it will be recommended to even more people. So please like the video. If you are not subscribed, please hit on the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching.